Hello and welcome to your 4:30 Salford Now programme. I'm Conor McCann.
And I'm Niamh McDermott. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
We know this winter is going to be bad, but I think it's going to be even worse than we expected, and we were looking at the worst possible scenario.
A Salford charity are struggling to keep people in Salford warm this winter.
We hear how James, who has experienced life on the streets, is now helping the homeless across Salford.
A lot trying to get help and can't get it, and the ones that do get the help, normally they can thrive off it, and that's why I'm doing this.
And we take a look at how young people are being educated on climate change at Salford Quays.
First this afternoon, 2/3 of people in Salford fear they won't be able to afford their energy bills in the next year. And that figure comes on the day the new Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, announced the energy support payments.
More on the Chancellor's statement later in the programme, but Nicole Tompkins has been speaking to a Salford charity who are handing out warm night packs for those who are unable to put their heating on.
It's already going to be a hard winter for many people this year. Bills are going up and temperatures are starting to drop. But for those who can't afford to turn on the heating, Salford Loaves and Fishes are providing a lifeline. Jenny Smith runs the centre that supports homeless and vulnerable people in the Salford community and has made warm night packs for those most in need.
Because bills have gone up by 80% and also certain food products have gone up by 40%, we knew that it's really going to be a struggle for a lot of people. So we wanted to create something to ensure that people were warm at home but safe.
Each pack contains a blanket, ski hat, fingerless gloves and woolen socks. And for more extreme situations, they'll be giving out items like flasks and battery-powered lights. They've been partly funded by Rotary and Worsley after Jenny pitched the idea to them in a Dragon's Den-style evening they hosted earlier this month, as well as funding from Salix Homes.
So we actually thought our sort of boom, kind of what we're waiting for, would be around the beginning of November, but we've got people now without gas and electricity. So the packs which we have created, we actually think there will be a bigger demand and we'll have to keep purchasing that in. One lady whose electricity was costing £11 a week was costing about £45 for 5 days, and she'd only put the heating on a few times, and that's obviously going to get worse.
Mal and Kevin are clients at the centre and often lend a hand. They think the government isn't doing enough to support the most vulnerable in our communities.
Definitely they're not looking at people who really need them, like single families as well, like, and kids and all that. There's people coming in with literally desperate things. And we've got clients coming in who will donate £80 a week to live on. Live on, and you've got kids, you know what I mean, and the older people as well. They're struggling, like we've got nowhere to stay as well. I mean, £80 a week, you can't heat it, heating, can you? There's going to be a lot more people accessing Loaves and Fishes in the area. So you think we're going to get more people coming in, like, you know what I mean, because you just get busy now and like Christmas as well.
According to new figures from the non-profit organisation 38 Degrees, within the next year, 63% of Salford and Eccles constituents fear they won't be able to afford their energy bills. 32% fear they might have to use food banks, and another 32% fear they might be homeless.
It's unimaginable that we're at this point, and we know this winter is going to be bad, but I think it's going to be even worse than we expected, and we were looking at the worst possible scenario.
The scale of this crisis is worsening every day, but Salford Loaves and Fishes are determined to help in whichever way they can. Nicole Tompkins, Salford Now.
If you've been affected by anything in Nicole's report, head to salfordnow.co.uk where you can find out more about where to get support.
Well, next today, more people are trying to help the most disadvantaged people in our city. James Worthington used to be homeless, but now he is setting up a shelter to accommodate the rough sleepers of Salford.
He's taken over an old carpet shop on Sidney Road and work is already underway. Catherine Monk went for a cup of tea and a chat.
A warm cup of coffee in a warm house is what some people just want this winter.
You know, what people I've met who've been homeless, which has been a lot recently, you know, a lot suffer with mental health. A lot trying to get help and can't get it. And the ones that do get the help, you know, normally they can thrive off it. And that's why I'm doing this, you know, for the people who do want to help themselves.
Having gone through it himself, James has decided on building a shelter.
And I also had these little problems in my head going on that I didn't know. I remembered I did feel sorry for myself. I did think I'm in a bad position here. For the couple of weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it was, I didn't know what was going to happen in my life. I didn't know. I just knew I was hungry. I knew people's mums were feeding me. I was basically turning to little bits of crime to get money.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there was no roof over me. There was nothing.
A Salford Council survey has shown that almost 5,000 people are homeless in 2022. That is 1,500 more people compared to 2019. The issue lies on the need of temporary accommodation has increased. And here is where the community comes to help. Another group that helps is Saving People Shelter Project, which focuses in housing the homeless around Greater Manchester. Like, what's the main reason why you started the shelter project?
Because I was sick of going around in circles. I mean, every single council's absolutely a lot of crap, basically, that's all I can say, you know. Every single council I've been to, I started helping people in probably 2016 or something, when I was sort of homeless myself. Started a project up called Saving People Shelter Project, where I acquire buildings. Well, like I say, but if you've never been homeless, you're not going to know, are you, until it hits you. I mean, at the moment, in this current climate, you know, it's only going to get worse, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because everything's going up. People can't afford to live as it is at the minute.
James' project will take 12 months, but can the homeless people wait that long? Catherine Monk, Salford Now.
After reports of a man holding a knife in Higher Broughton, Greater Manchester, police arrested a 26-year-old man near Lee Street on Sunday afternoon. Liam O'Donnell went to the scene for more.
Greater Manchester Police arrived here on Rowan Way yesterday after hearing reports of a man carrying a bladed article on Lee Street just around the corner. The man was later charged with carrying a bladed article and also child abduction, and he remains in custody as inquiries go further. If anybody has anything to say on the matter, please call 101 quoting incident 2099 of the 16th of October 2022.
Now let's move to the big political news of the day. The budget U-turns from Chancellor Jeremy Hunt and the debate that's happening in the House of Commons as we speak.
Yes, our reporter Sam Oliphant has been looking at the Chancellor's announcement. Sam, what did Mr Hunt say?
So Jeremy Hunt earlier today announced that he'll be scrapping almost all of Kwasi Kwarteng's taxation measures, which he put into his mini-budget almost 3 weeks ago. He said that £32 billion a year could be generated from these measures for the UK economy. And finally, he did end with saying that there will be more difficulties to come in the coming months for taxation and spending.
And what are some of these taxation measures?
So, first of all, we've got the corporation tax, which is going to stay at 25%. It was proposed that it would go down to 19% in the original mini budget. However, it has stayed at 25%. So the corporation tax means that businesses will be taxed 25% on all profits and sales which they make.
And what about income tax?
Well, the income tax will go back up to 20p per the pound. It was originally thought that it would stay at 19p per pound, which Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng had initially introduced into their original mini budget. And these measures have all been brought in to reduce the government borrowing.
And what does this mean for the country and the Prime Minister?
Well, as I said, £32 billion a year could be generated from these new measures for the country. However, Liz Truss has come under scrutiny in the recent days, even from her own cabinet, and they are wanting her to resign some of these people. Penny Mordaunt this afternoon has also addressed the House of Commons, where she has faced a series of questions from Labour with regards to Jeremy Hunt's new mini-budget on behalf of Liz Truss.
Well, thank you so much for that, Sam. Now, Connor, what can we do to be more sustainable?
Well, Niamh, if you head over to our neighbours at the Lowry Theatre on Salford Quays, you can find out Salford businesses are educating people on how to tackle climate change.
And we didn't send our greenest reporter, Sophie Green, on her bike to find out more.
So I'm with Neil today, who works for Manchester Bikes, outside the Lowry, where they are having the Green Summit inside. So Neil, what is this?
This is an electric cargo bike. It's just basically a standard bicycle, but with a big box on the front and an electric motor to help people move stuff, kids, goods around.
And why is the Green Summit 2022 so important?
Well, with the climate and climate change, it's good to get everybody together to try and discuss how to change the way we work, and everyday business needs to change, and it's a good way to discuss how to do that.
And for the people of Salford, what can the people of Salford do in order to be more sustainable?
From my point of view, they can drive less is always a good one. Get an electric bike if they don't want to get a standard bike. Cargo bikes are always good. Using their cars less.
That sounds great. Do you want to give us a go on the bike? Yep. Go on. Oh,
you have to have a go. Right. What I'll do, I'll quickly talk you through the bike. So it's, as I say, it is electric. So this side is your motor. I'll leave it on the sports setting, so it will go quite fast when you first start. It has got an automatic gearbox, so you don't need to worry about changing gear. It will just change gear for you when it needs to. And then if you're used to riding a bike, brakes are standard brakes. And that's all you need to know, really.
Right, shall I give it a go?
So is that seat too high? Look where you want to go. Look up where you want to go.
It's harder than you think.
That's all we've got time for today. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.
That's us for now. Bye.